The movie Good Fortune dresses itself as a supernatural comedy about hope, purpose, and the value of the ordinary life. But this is a lie. Its actual message is that people living in economic poverty should accept their struggles as meaningful rather than demand better material conditions. The movie ultimately functions as a kind of gaslighting, convincing you that the misery of living paycheck to paycheck is spiritually valuable, while wealth is portrayed as a superficial distraction rather than a real solution to real problems. In doing so, the movie inadvertently reinforces the very social inequalities it pretends to illuminate.
First check. Felipe, my first check. Felipe, there's something wrong with my check. There's not enough money. I can't make enough money to live off this. I thought a job gives me enough money for all my things and some extra money to spend on fun stuff.
In this movie, we are introduced to Arj, a man that believed in the American dream. He did everything right, and still society has failed him. He went to college, got a degree, but was not able to find a job with it, so he has to do numerous part-time jobs just to make it by. We see that he lives in his car, has to work doing gigs, and is financially struggling.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to college.
And why are you a laundryman? I want to be an archaeologist.
And you're gonna major in archaeology, and then you're gonna get out. And there's gonna be no archaeology job. You got no job, a useless degree, and a ton of debt. You take every part-time gig you can get. You're working all the time, but you never have enough.
How is the new apartment?
It's cozy. American dream is dead.
Later on in the movie, he meets an angel, Gabriel, who has Arj and a rich person, Jeff, switch places with one another. From the moment Arj's life is switched with Jeff's, the reality is unmistakable. Wealth does fix nearly all of Arj's problems. His housing insecurity evaporates, his financial stress disappears, and the catastrophic instability of gig work is instantly replaced with freedom, comfort, and safety. When he becomes rich, he is not spiritually empty or morally compromised, he is simply relieved. The movie shows, with almost complete honesty, that poverty does not make your life meaningful, it is just exhausting. The plain truth, demonstrated by the movie's own plot, is that Arj's happiness skyrockets the moment he no longer has to scramble for survival.
What's happened?
You wanted to have wealth and success. Here you go. Take a good look around. See if Jeff's life is all it's cracked up to be.
So bad news, the heater's busted. Probably have to replace it. Probably like $30K for the heater, another $5 for the install.
Okay. Nuts, I was living in my car. Now I'm living in this giant house. I can buy whatever I want, do whatever I want.
But what?
Whose house is this?
Your house.
The movie then begins its ideological pivot. Arj's enjoyment of wealth is framed as a failure of morality, rather than an understandable human response to finally having security.
You see how superficial a life of wealth and success ultimately is?
No.
Gabriel's entire mission becomes a kind of celestial guilt trip, convincing Arj that poverty builds character, that struggle gives life meaning, and that wanting to escape hardship is spiritually immature. This framing conveniently avoids the obvious truth that a society which leaves people living in cars, working multiple jobs, and barely surviving is itself immoral. Instead, Good Fortune individualizes the problem. It is not the system that must change, it is Arj's attitude. The end of the movie drives this message home when it is stated that Arj can only return to his true life once he desires it, not because it is tolerable, but because he believes it has a purpose. This is the deception at the heart of this movie. The movie tells you to cheer for Arj's willingness to accept suffering as meaningful, rather than question why such suffering exists in the first place. It replaces the demand for structural change with personal enlightenment.
You're gonna make me go back?
No, I can't do that.
I have to want to go back.
That's right.
Then I don't want to go back.
But you can't do that.
You just said I could.
If you want to switch back to your old life, it should happen.
Just to be clear, he does not only have to want to go back, he has to be psyched about it.
The poor, the movie implies, don't need better wages, better protections, or more stability. They just need hope, perspective, and maybe a purpose for their life. This is where the movie drifts into outright propaganda. In a world where millions of people are gig workers like Arj, where housing costs skyrocket and wages stagnate, telling people that financial hardship is spiritually fulfilling is not just naive, it is manipulative. It echoes the age-old ideological refrain that the poor should stay in their lane because they are morally richer for their suffering. Meanwhile, Jeff, the wealthy employer, is allowed the easy redemption arc of doing better after experiencing Arj's life for a couple of days. After he switches back, he keeps all his wealth and simply states that his workers need more benefits. The system remains intact. Its beneficiaries remain comfortably on top.
We have to start treating these delivery drivers better. They're gonna start paying them more.
George, don't forget your pee bottle, bro.
At the end, Arj embraces his old life as though his economic insecurity were a calling rather than a crisis. But this supposed purpose is nothing more than a narrative band-aid meant to soothe people watching into accepting inequality as natural and immutable. The implication is that the poor do not need money. They need meaning. They do not need resources. They need resilience. They do not need liberation. They need gratitude. But meaning does not pay rent. Purpose does not cover medical bills. Gratitude does not erase debt. What good fortune ultimately accomplishes is the softening of economic injustice by romanticizing the suffering it causes. Instead of challenging the structures that keep people like Arj struggling, the movie distracts everyone with the comforting lie that struggle itself is noble.
I show you something to make you realize your life is precious. You see it, you go back. You can't just stay.
If I go back, will I have my car, a job, anything?
No, but I love being human.
Because my life sucks. I mean, it's not the worst life in the world. Everything I'm supposed to do and nothing's working out. My life isn't precious. My life is just in the service of people like Jeff, the people who actually get to live, and I think my life's worth living.
Good fortune is not just a comedy with a message. It is an ideological parable designed to keep people content with lives that society has made unnecessarily difficult. It asks the poor to accept their lot, to believe their hardship is somehow spiritually precious, and to reject the very idea that a better material life is worth pursuing. In doing so, it reinforces the illusions that sustain inequality and then have the audacity to call it hope.